You've probably heard that before, but if you're going through something, you
Mhm.
probably feel like it's only you going through it, but it's
Yes.
not. Like, there are
Yes.
so many other people that are hurting in whatever way that you're hurting in.
Yeah.
There's most likely a community that can support you.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bloom, Build, and Birth, the podcast where we talk about everything when it comes to your health, your fitness, your relationships, and everything in between. Today, I am so excited to be joined by your favorite nurse yogi, Lesline. And I would love for you, Lesline, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your experiences. We want to know everything about your gradual but yet very intentional build to where you are today. And we're going to lean into some of your expertise around our wellness. So welcome, Lesline Pittman, to the show.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I always am like, I don't know what to say, but so I'll start with my parents because that's where really my wellness journey started.
Yeah.
My mom, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when I was like in high school.
Mm.
And so her being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes is what led me to becoming a nurse.
Mm.
Also couple that with I am first generation Jamaican American, so it's like you be a nurse, doctor. It's very
Right.
limited options of what your parents want for you. And I am a recovering people pleaser person and also the firstborn. So I was like, I just want to make my parents happy. And I
Mm-hmm.
became a nurse. Then my dad, he's always been active as long as I can remember. He's taught me how to skate, ride my bike, swim, all the things that I always like we don't really do.
Yeah.
Me and my sister and my dad were always out there. So I saw as a child like what it's like to take care of yourself versus what it's like not to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's really late as of late, which we'll, get into like my rebranding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as of late, that's really what is my why as to why I
Mm-hmm.
show up the way that I do.
I love that. I think that's so important. And when you think about like, because I've seen just in the short time that I've been in Orlando and seen your growth and development since 2021, 22-ish, I guess. I've seen you grow and grow your business and create the Breath Between Collective and all of the things that you're doing in terms of, the cruise ship I saw and like all
Yeah.
of the cool, amazing ways that you're not just your business, but you as a person have evolved. I would love to know a bit more about that, especially as it relates to the phases. Like I've kind of seen you bloom a bit. I've kind of seen you build a bit. I've kind of seen you move into like all three phases,
Yeah.
birthing this new iteration of your business. How does when you think about the blooming and the building and the birthing, how does that kind of fit into your framework and does it resonate with you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it resonates with me a lot, and that's why I was like, I'm in between like 2 and 3, the second and the third. I feel
Yeah.
like, and even this morning, I was like, because it's just being a mom and all, and I still work my corporate job, and so there's a lot that I'm like in the in between, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be challenging, and sometimes I feel like shame around that too,
Mm.
that I still work my corporate job because people are like, man, the way you show up, I think you have a 6-figure, business and all. And it's like, it's not, no, not yet, not at this
Yeah.
time. But
But I love how you said not yet though, Leslie, because honestly, how will you ever get that if you don't work it like it is? I really believe that there's no way that you're ever going to have a 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever figure business if you don't work it that way. Because like what's the other option? Like I would ask someone, what is the other option? Because if I work it like it's small potatoes, it's going to stay small.
Exactly. And you saying it like that is like, well, at least how I hear what you're saying to me is like me working on my business and me making that choice was technically 5 years ago now that I started my business.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't start my business, I would be a very sad, depressed person. I would be very dependent on my husband. I would be very angry at
Mhm.
him. I would have a lot of resentment towards him, towards
Yeah.
my family. And I say it like that and have that kind of face like that makes no sense, right? Like in now hindsight is 2020.
Right.
But I remember like before my business and when we first had our kids, I was like,
Mhm.
what the hell is going on? I was like, this is too much.
Right. Right.
It was too much. Like,
Yeah.
because we have our kids, boy and girl, are 16 months apart. So, like,
Mhm.
people call them Irish twins and
Yeah.
whatnot. Was not planned. People just were just in love. You know how it goes. Anyway, so we had them.
I love that for you. Absolutely.
And so we had Lennox, and then he was 9 months, Nikki.
Oh my gosh.
And something was like, oh, take a pregnancy test. And my dumb self, I'm a nurse, mind you. I was like, oh, when your pregnancy brain still have a lot of
Yes.
hormones in me. I forget who, it's like old wives' tale. I'm saying this is old wives' tale.
Oh, they're getting out the way. You see, like walking at like 6 months or something crazy.
No, I was people said like breastfeeding is a contraceptive. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Yes.
It's not true because here's
Absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. Let me tell you how untrue it actually is. So I breastfed Amina exclusively for 6 months and continued on until she was freaking 2 years old.
good for you.
I literally, let me tell you when I weaned her, little ass. I weaned her when I literally got what they call, and you probably as a nurse know this, nursing aversion. Like the sensation of the thought even of her coming to me that way is the equivalent of nails on a chalkboard.
Yep.
Even to this day, like if she tries to I'm like, no. Me. Like I literally had nursing aversion. Now she was on me for like 2 full years all the time, and then suddenly it's like when you see a mother dog like start stepping on her puppies, like get the hell away from me. Like it was like that. And so my point was my period came back 6 weeks after I gave birth.
Oh.
And my doctor was like, yeah, your body wants you to get pregnant again real quick. Because I was 35. And so my body was like, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Gotta get the show on the road.
It is not a contraceptive is my point, but go ahead.
Yeah. And so I see the pregnancy test, and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought if I breastfed that I wouldn't get pregnant. And so then she came, and we had 2 under 2 couple, and then the pandemic came, and it was bad to the point that I had thoughts of wanting to hurt myself. I had thoughts of wanting to hurt her. And it was the thoughts of wanting to hurt her that scared the shit out of me. I was just like, what is happening?
Yes.
And I always say that part of my story because it's a shame that it's the thoughts of wanting to harm her that stopped me dead in my tracks, and not the thoughts of wanting to harm myself that stopped me dead in my tracks. And what I mean by that, and why I built my business, is because I feel like moms, we have to take care of ourselves first. And for whatever reason, when you become a mom, it's like you don't even on the back burner. You're like, you out of the
not even in the kitchen. You're not in the house.
Yeah, you're on the side of the road.
Right.
But how are you supposed to care for a baby if you don't know how to care for yourself?
Yeah.
But I give myself grace with that. And I think it's also important you have to have good role models, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of how do you take care of yourself as a woman?
Yeah.
And I had decent role models, like with my mom. When she got diagnosed with diabetes, now she's like off the medication. She walks everywhere. Like if you're on that side of town where my mom lives, the lady walking everywhere. Okay. Yeah. So she made a 360 or a 180 technically, because if you did a 360, then anyways, she changed her life after the diagnosis, right? But I remember before, as a kid, she never was outside with us. She never was doing any type of activity. And then it's also, I guess I'm going to go this way too with this conversation, but now that I'm a mom and
Mm-hmm.
I find myself even this morning getting easily overwhelmed, like I still get overwhelmed. I want to make that clear. I
Yeah.
think I used to think when I first like became a yoga teacher too, I was like, oh, now that I'm a yoga teacher, I can't get
Where's
mad.
that? Right.
Yeah.
Or feel stress. Yeah.
Or feel stress. And so I just like to say that too for people that are for women that are listening because you're a human being. And so
Yeah.
anyways,
I think it's so important though, and I'm so proud of you for even saying what you said about feeling what you feel. Because as someone who has been in therapy throughout the
mhm,
years and who supports therapy, it can be very difficult to come to grips with thoughts and feelings that you
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And especially, I mean, even going to therapy, right, is a departure from the way at least I was raised.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
then on top of that, the idea that mental wellness is a thing, it simply wasn't a thing in
Hmm.
my house, in my family. Even I told someone before, I can recall recently, as recent as like weeks ago, saying to my mom, "Yeah, I just have a little depression." Don't say that.
Hmm.
You're not depressed.
Hmm.
Like, no, I am. Like, it's been diagnosed. It's
Right,
a
right.
right. Like, I was medicated previously for it the years ago. Like, it's a thing, but no.
Mhm, yeah.
It's not. And so I love that you would admit it. And I hate that it's like an admission, but like that you
Hmm.
stated clearly, explicitly that you struggled with that after having your baby.
Yeah.
How would you say, as a woman whose business is all about supporting women and motherhood and all of that, what sort of interventions would you have recommended to yourself, or like looking back, hindsight, like you mentioned, what would you say to a mom who's in that state right now, or, somewhere in that realm of a new motherhood phase? What would you say to her she can do to take care of herself?
Get therapy. Like, even if you're like, I feel okay, I'm fine, like, get therapy now. I
Yes.
really think that that should be a part of the regular plan of care, like postpartum, like with postpartum, you do your 6 week checkup, you see
Mhm.
your OBGYN, your midwife, they check you physically. And if
Yeah.
you're fortunate enough, like I was, my midwife, she did check in with me mentally as well. And I
Mhm.
was okay at that 6 weeks. It wasn't until like maybe while she was like 6 months. It wasn't
Mhm.
even so that whole postpartum blues, postpartum depression, it's also postpartum intrusive thoughts. It's like kind of all within that.
Mhm.
You don't have to be like I don't want to say the extreme, but you don't have to be like, well, I'm not having those thoughts.
Right.
You need to seek therapy because this is a major life transition.
Yeah.
So it's always important with any transition you have in life, marriage, a new baby, losing, God forbid, you lost a stillbirth or you lose a
Right.
baby, a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Those are all different transitions that require professional help. I
Yes.
remember too, I had a miscarriage before our son,
Mhm.
and it was like like 6 weeks. The nurse and me, sorry, I'd be a little graphic, but I peed and a little bit of, like it that came the blood, a little bit of blood
Yeah.
clot. That was technically the
Yeah.
embryo or whatever.
Right.
Not even just some clump of cells. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Right.
it still was traumatic for me because I never had gone through anything like that before.
Right.
And with that miscarriage, I remember obviously my husband knew it was happening, but it
Mhm.
took us a while to tell like our family and those kind of things. And so I remember telling like my mother-in-law and my mom, and my mother-in-law was like, "Oh yeah, I had a miscarriage like before such kid." And then I
Yeah.
started telling more and more women like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." And I'm like, "Why aren't you guys saying?" Like I'm just like wanting to shake them.
Right.
And I realized like, oh, I should share this. And that was at the same time that my business started too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's the one of the many things that we have lost to Western civilization, right? This idea that we have to, or that we should do things by ourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
The idea that we as people in Western individualistic cultures like not only should you do it by yourself, but if you need help, something is wrong with you. Like if you
Yeah.
need an assist, if
Yeah.
you need a community, like what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I think especially with women and especially with motherhood, that to me is one of the biggest struggles that we have and why we struggle so much. You are not meant to mother alone. You are not meant to work by yourself, clean by yourself. Like all of this should be community. It should be communal. Everything from sharing food to sharing who has the kids on Saturday. Like all of this is meant to be communal. And because we have isolated ourselves because of structural, norms that have been propped up in the last, few hundred years, it takes away from our ability to rest,
Yep.
to create,
Yes.
to thrive in general. What would you say, a new mom could do or should do in order to protect herself from that sort of individualistic burnout?
Speak up. Because if I didn't speak up when I first had my kids, I wouldn't have found people like you. I wouldn't, I wouldn't have found communities where I could, where I could realize, oh, it's not just me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not just me. Because I was about to say, like, you've probably heard that before, but if you're going through something, you probably feel like it's only you going through it, but it's not. Like there are so many other people that are hurting in whatever way that you're hurting in. There's most likely a community that can support you and help you sit in it, right? And then get through it. But if you don't speak up, like people can't read your mind. And I used to think like I didn't like have that actual sentence, but it was like I just like for example, I look at my husband like, you don't know, and it's like, no, Lesline, like I can't read your mind. Like,
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. I love that you said that too, because not only is it important to speak up, but to have a spirit of in a culture, I think, whether it be your family or your friends, whatever, of what an old therapist of mine called, and I'm sure it's common, but over communicating.
Yeah.
Like on both ends. So if I tell you, Lesline, I need X, Y, and Z, and it, very explicit, very like clear, this is the what, the who, the why, all the things, right, that I tell you. And then you, as an active listener involved in our collective over communication, can say to me, okay, Nikki, so you're saying to me, right, and rephrasing it. And that way you feel and know that you are seen, you are heard, your needs are respected, like how, because as women, we've been taught to like not ask for things, not ask for help, not lean on people. Like one easy way a woman can do that. Like what's one simple, like to practice that muscle, to build that muscle, what's one easy thing that she can do?
Something, well, I don't want to say simple because it's not simple at first, because I still struggle with the whole, because I'm like, I don't want to talk too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or there's, as we're talking, also, before I answer that question, I'm going to have to ask you to repeat it, but there's this guilt that I know has been because of how, how you're saying with how society has was structured everything, but there is this sense of guilt when you say you have the baby and you're like, hey, I am overwhelmed, or you don't even have to say that, like if you don't even know the emotion wheel, like you could be like, I don't know what I'm
like a thermometer on the refrigerator.
I know, have some, right. It's like, I don't know how I'm feeling right now, but I don't feel like myself. Can you please take the baby? I'm gonna go take a walk. That was literally when I was first like had both of the kids. That was an example of what I had to say to my husband, because I was like, there was just a lot of thoughts in my head, like it was just a lot of not good thoughts that were going through my head. And I remember just like, hey, here you go, I need to just go for a minute. And if you have a supportive partner, they won't question you. Because I will also say this, when I was having those thoughts of harming and also wanting to harm her, I didn't tell my husband at first, because I was afraid that he was going to judge me and possibly, if you do need to be, Baker acted. But I was scared. I was like, oh gosh. So I didn't tell him until like after I was in therapy.
Yeah. Did he have a sense for it? Did he kind of pick up on it?
Yeah. Like when we
Is there
talked
any
about,
advice you would give partners and what to look for?
yeah, it's so hard because it's like, unfortunately, I blocked out so
Well, I think even in those traumatic moments like that, I don't know about you, but for me, a little bit of disassociation comes up, right? Like I'll tell people I'm quick to disassociate. Like
Same.
if it's a situation where it's uncomfortable or like taxing, if you can forget those memories,
Yeah.
I will not remember.
I think, okay, this, I'll give some examples for the partner because we hear now, which is great, about like what the woman is feeling. So I really like that you asked this question
Mhm.
because the partner, man, whomever is helping you,
Yeah.
they cannot read your mind, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if they see, for example, so if you're the partner and you see that your wife or whatever, they are not showering, like it's been like 2 days,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes,
Yeah.
the one day, especially if it's a newborn, I'm gonna
Right.
give you some
Right.
slack. But if it's been like, if it's been day 2, day 3, and
Yeah.
they haven't gotten in the shower,
Yeah.
be like, hey, like, I can take like, say this
Right.
to them.
Right.
I can take Johnny. You go in the shower. Like,
Right.
literally say it like that to your partner, because when I tell you, you as the mom is just so like, I have to, because it's innate. You're like, I have to care
Yeah.
for baby. Like, that's all you know. You forget about yourself. You
It's
do.
so true. Oh my gosh, this reminds me. We talked about nursing earlier, right? I
Mhm.
promise you, I bullshit you not, Lesline. I felt like I was an open milk stand. Like I felt like I was like the dairy section at the grocery
Mhm.
store, okay? To the point where, between the nursing and like having my boobs out all the time,
Yeah.
I remember, and even now sometimes I laugh to myself before I leave the house. I remember checking myself before I left the house to make sure my boobs weren't out. Because
Yep.
I would be so afraid that I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
That's how much they were exposed,
Yeah.
and how like desensitized and
Yeah.
like they were and I was. Like you are a totally different person at that point.
Yes. And that's the main, yeah, you're not the same, and you're
No.
not gonna come back to yourself. And there's that too, like there's that grief that I did
Yes.
go through of like, oh, the old Lesline is gone. She never coming back.
Christina's
And
gone.
she's she's gone. And so there, I struggled with
Yeah.
that as well. I think that's also where those, like, the intrusive thoughts and all that was like, well, I'm just gonna end it because I don't
Yeah.
know how to be a mom. Like, I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
Tell your partner, like, I'm taking the baby. I know what to do, because there's that too. As women, we think that men are incapable. And yes, but if you
Right.
train up the man, like, you can
Right.
train them and be like,
Right.
hey, like, you can figure it out. They can. The man can figure it out. They can take care of the baby. They can change the
Yes.
diapers.
Also, keeping in mind, and this is, I think, a big thing for women too, is that baby's diaper may be on backward. That baby, like the onesie might be inside out.
And
The
it's
bottle may
okay.
be
It's okay.
right. That bottle is leaking, but you got 800 bags of milk in there. You go take a shower. You are fine. You are perfectly fine.
And that's a good point too, Nikki, because it's like you have to learn how to, like, let go and delegate. I
Yes.
learned how to delegate as a new mom to my husband. And that helped me also in business, right?
Yes.
Now I'm learning how to delegate certain parts of business because I realize I'm very, no, I have to do everything. I have to do it all. And it's
Yeah,
like,
everything is your baby at that point. And so you have to have
everything is your
everything
baby.
so carefully crafted and perfect. I have been thinking about starting this series and like we should do it together. I'll see a van that's obviously a commercial vehicle, right?
Mhm.
Typos and the rusting, and I'm like, but they still got that business. They still going to appointments, Right now, I have somebody sent me something, and it was like a little cute little gift box, from Amazon. It's like the candle, the little bath soap. And I thought, misspellings all over, bad grammar. They still made that sale.
Yep.
We have to keep, especially as business owners and parents, you have to be okay. I'm not saying show up and be, half-assed. I don't believe in
Right.
half-assed.
Right.
But show up, do the
Yep.
work, do your best,
Yeah.
and then always know that you can always improve and iterate.
That that is where I'm at too. And I think what it no, not I think what it excites me about people like you is because we just show up the way, like we just show up. And
Yeah.
that is half the battle. Like something as silly as remember I don't know if you remember, I made this post where I made a flyer for an event that a mutual friend of ours, were me and Rochelle, we were doing a
Yes.
financial wellness event, and I spelled mindfulness wrong. I it's like, oh, I might
Right.
need some help, right?
Right.
But I was so embarrassed, and like somebody did message me on the side, and I was like, okay, like
And those
okay,
people love that. First of all,
like are you
I'm
gonna
not just
come?
saying. I'm sure they meant well, but the people who don't mean well when they do that, it's like stop looking for things to be wrong.
That's
You
what I was
know?
like. And that person though, like, yeah, was in good nature. They're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to let you know. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, I'm not deleting the post. Like,
Oh.
you know,
And who died as a result, right?
nobody. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's like, and then I just like how, I feel like we're similar that, okay, I'm making another piece of content about how I fucked up.
Yes.
Because I think people think that, and motherhood and business, that you're supposed to do things perfectly. Like how you're saying with the baby, like when you have somebody else care for the baby that you trust and that's safe, and partner,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
they might put the onesie on backwards. They
Yes.
might, do something you don't like, but the baby is cared for.
Yeah, the
And
baby
it's
is
like
safe. Yeah.
business.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I've been doing a lot of work over the years around moving away from perfection. And so I would love to know, how do you decide to rebrand? Like you must have seen an opportunity or something that needed to be different or could be different. What for you was the signal to say, you know what, this is working, but it's not quite me right now?
Yeah. Huh. It was so interesting because like I'll just be thinking stuff. I won't even be saying anything. And then God will bring people that come and help. And so it was towards the end of last year, I was just kind of just over my business. I was like, it's not working, and I was just getting discouraged. And I went to another person's wellness event actually. And I actually wanted to be on her, like help her be an ambassador for her thing. And then lo and behold, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I would love to help you like rebrand. Like I see so much potential. And she was like, it's bigger than Lesline does wellness. And so she actually helped me like figure out the name, the breath between. She's like, this can be a whole like movement, Lesline. And I struggled with that. But I struggled with her, like when she said that, I was like, yes, but I was like, still like, who am I? It's so silly. But then it's like, when I see other people doing, I'm like, I can do that too.
Right.
I'm like, I can do that too. So it was that person that really came at that time that was like, you need to change the name. Lesline Does Wellness was cute. That's what she said, but she was like, we need to have it so other people. That was what it was too. So, you build community, and that's what I have been doing, right? But I think what I struggle with is like, my life is not perfect, so why would you want to be a part of of what I'm doing? Or I'm not doing it like this person, so why would you want to be a part of that? And I know that's why people want to be, but I'm just saying these thoughts out loud because that's kind of what held me up to growing.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. What was the unblock, or what was the unlock? Like, was there a crystallizing moment? Was it the support from that person that kind of made you see? And that's what I'll say then, because, and I'm gonna say this to whoever's listening, like, be open to the possibilities. We get so stuck, like going back to parenting, going back to motherhood. You get so stuck in thinking my child has to do it this way. She has to go to this Montessori. She has to do this. She has to be in this pre-K. She has to go to this ballet class.
Yes.
Be open. The best it may be the best parenting advice, and I think it's true for everything really, that I've ever received in my whole life. I wish I remember who said it. Was we tell our children where to look, not what they see, right? And I think the same has to be true for us, right? Like we know the vision, we know the direction we want to go. But if someone had told me 2 years ago that I was going to be doing this today, I'd say, okay, I believe you, but I didn't see it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
know where you're going, but don't expect to know every detail along the way, right?
And that's where people get hung up. That's where people get hung up. And that's when you see people that inspire you, is because they don't allow all of the little details to get in the way. Yes, those things you do have to address, but like for example, yes, like I'm doing this 100 days of YouTube, right?
Yeah, which by the way, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers.
That was hard, and thank you.
Yes.
So yesterday was like day 37, and I'm recording during my lunch break, all these things, right? And then I was doing a video to show my camera because I've been getting that question from people like, oh, what do you record on? I'm not tech girl. So I was like, I'm just going to record on my phone and show the camera. Like, I don't know how to do the side-by-side things yet or a voiceover. I was like, and I do minimal edits right now.
Yeah.
I'm recording on my phone. It's full. Like, and I'm like, okay, let me delete CapCut. When I tell you, I made that video. So I say that to say those type of moments that happen, I feel like build character and build patience.
Yes.
You have to have patience for yourself, because when that's happening, I'm noticing too, how am I talking to myself? Oh, Leslie, why do you never clear your phone? Or why you're so dumb? Like, like, notice, it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
And that right there is the metacognition. And that's why I say it's so important, because, it's when you look at the bloom and the build and the birth, people sometimes will think that the queen bee phase is like pinnacle, right? Like that is like the best. Once you've hit that, like you can do whatever you want. You are the most reliant and the most vulnerable as a queen. You are you are doing a lot as far as like birthing ideas and like being creative and a visionary. But in terms of the caretaking of your hive, the caretaking of the ecosystem, you are at the whim of your audience, right? You are at the whim of your family and the people who you've delegated to. If they don't show up or if they stop supporting you, then you are done, right? And going back to that flower phase, as you mentioned, thinking about your thoughts, that metacognition, in my opinion, is one of the most important things you can do as a woman, because you're not simply operating out of the moment or the thought or the emotion. You're really going deeper. And I would love to hear an example of how metacognition and thinking about thinking shows up with you, whether it be work or family or however.
The first thing that comes up for me is when I had those thoughts of wanting to harm myself and my daughter. Yeah. I didn't realize it was technically like metacognition, but it was like I stopped. Yeah. Like I literally stopped, like physically stopped my body. And I also will say I say also it's like because of my yoga practice, I like am aware of what I'm thinking. Yes. And I always say this, and people might be like, oh gosh, I get, you hear the stories where mothers, they unfortunately, I don't want to say I get it, but if you're not, have metacognition, if you're not mindful, if you're just surviving, which a lot of us are just surviving. Like a lot of people, right? They're just trying to make a way out of nothing. Yeah. How, like, and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she would do that to a baby. And it's like, can we take a moment? Did she have any support? No. Right. She had no support. She didn't. Right. And so I always like to share that. And I really wish people were more. It makes me a little emotional because I feel like people they're not sensitive to postpartum. It's like
Yeah.
once you pop the baby out, the mom is like I said, on the curb, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
With that
sorry, but
with that sea of emotions, right? The sea of hormone shifts and like, you get caught up in all of that, not to mention the immediate sense of both unimaginable responsibility,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Plus this unimaginable like level of perfection you're supposed to have about
yep,
this huge job. I remember when I gave birth to Amina, because I struggled with fertility for many years before I had her. And so on top of like all the losses,
yeah.
now you have your first baby. And I remember thinking, what the fuck have I done? And it wasn't because, this little person is like so needy and like has, literally like laying there, like do everything. I was thinking, I just brought the most precious, beautiful
Yeah,
person who I love. I would die for her, like immediately, like take me now, self-immolation immediately into this fucked up world. Like, what have I
yeah,
done? Like it did not hit me. Like I
absolutely.
immediately remember Lesline wanting to put her back. Like, let me put her, I need to put her back in. How can I do this?
I'll be pregnant forever.
And it's like that's one thing I think I wish people talked about more. We talk about it's the best job ever, and yeah, it's amazing, but I don't think and maybe you don't have the concept of it even to even think of it that way until you've done it.
Yeah,
But my God, like I immediately wanted to put her back in when I thought about it that way.
yeah. And especially as they get older, like now that my kids are, they're in school and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh gosh, like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, you know what? Throw us back in the newborn trenches. I'll take that any day over. Now they're in the world.
They're in the world. My God. They're in the world. And, God bless them. But my gosh, it is not an easy thing to have your children. Like Amina's doing virtual school now. But when I was taking her, all the other years to school, I feel like I'm like dropping her off at the woods,
Yeah, yes.
Like, all right, good luck, like,
Yeah.
hope you fare okay. It just feels so, especially in middle school, when some of the stories that she would come home with, girl, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But we do our best. So let's do hot takes. Hot takes. I know. So talking about being, going with the flow, we had to go with the flow today. We had some technical issues. So I don't want to take too much of your time today. So let's go ahead and do the rapid fire hot takes, first thing that comes up for you, feel free to go as short or as long as you want on the answer. What do you think is the most overrated piece of wellness advice for women or moms?
That you have to do everything, like all of the wellness that you hear in one day.
Right. Like, do you think you should spread it out or like have a consistent routine? Like, what do you think is best?
Ooh. Pick one thing. I will say that. Just pick one thing for like, we'll just say a week right now. I'm not going to say a 30-day I'm not going to overwhelm y'all.
Just because I couldn't even I'm still trying to do a damn squat challenge for 30 days. It's hard. It is hard to do something.
Exactly. So just do it for 7 days. Pick one thing. If that be you're going to walk for 10 minutes on your walking pad or outside, do that. Because then it goes into what, people know as habit stacking, right?
Yes.
So that's my thing. Because I still am guilty of like, I'm a type B person, but then my person now, like I'm also very extreme. Meaning like I just be doing like really extreme. Like I remember before I had my kids, I ran 2 half marathons like within a year. I be doing things like I just am anyways. But I say that to say like I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have to like make sure I do blah 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 blah. Like sleep my 8 hours, drink my gallon of water, do
You're
my
like the taskmaster, right? Yeah.
And so even me, I'm like, okay, did you at least get that 8 hours of sleep, Lesline? All right. Well, then today it's not technically a wash, but at least you were you're well rested. Right. Like, so some days I have to talk to myself like that because I will go into a tizzy of like, why didn't you boom, 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 boom.
Right. Yeah. And we deserve better than that. So I love that. Okay. What's one habit that you think prevents burnout better than anybody really realizes?
Ooh, one habit. Speaking up, like asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
You have help. Like I'm gonna tell whoever, like if you have help. Because I think that's something too. I do have support. And so you have to speak up. That's the only way I can say it. You have to speak up. You have to ask for help. Even if you don't have support within your home, you have a friend.
Yeah.
Like reach out to that friend, no matter where that friend lives. Like if you're like, well, she lives in another state or country, like reach out, speak up, be like, I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. And like that will help. Like that's the one habit I believe is like, if you speak up, you reach out to the support you do have. It doesn't have to be hundreds of it doesn't have to be an organization. It can be just one person,
And I would say that too, to add to that, I love that advice. Also, if you do speak up, because here's what I've seen happen. I've been guilty of this too in my past life, asking for help, not getting it, and then shutting down.
Yeah, I'm guilty of, yes.
Right? Yes. And let me say this, especially to a new mom.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that your request was a problem. You may have simply asked the wrong person, right? Yes. Like whether it because that's not in their nature, that maybe their bandwidth is not, existing, right? It doesn't mean that your request is overly needy or like, I wish women would stop saying that shit. Like you're not needy. You're not like asking for too much. You're asking people who can't provide that for whatever reason, whether it's they don't have time, they don't have capacity, they don't have love for you, whatever it is, but there's nothing wrong with your ask.
And no, I'm glad you said that because that's kind of like what I was trying to get at too.
Yeah.
And know that the support, it's not going to look, it might not look the way, it might not be from your husband or your partner. It might be from the friend you just met at the job last year.
Right.
Like,
right. That's okay.
Yeah. And that's what would trip me up too. I'm like, well, this person is supposed to help me and they're not. So I guess I can't ask for help. And it's like, look around you, look around.
And that goes back to what we talked about, community, right? When you have community, there's not like we're all on the same plane, right? There's different levels and layers of community, and you may have to dig a little deeper than you expected for your community, for your support.
Yeah.
Okay. What is something that moms need to stop apologizing for?
You already said the thinking you're too needy.
Yeah.
I'm in the school age now, but no matter what age your child is, you need support. Like you need it. And if you're like, oh, I'm asking for too much, ask somebody else. Like if that is how the exchange is feeling when you're asking said person that you think is supposed to help, switch to a different person. Yes. You're not needy. You need support, which is what we've said really well throughout this episode, I feel, is that you can't do motherhood alone. You can't.
And not only can you not, you shouldn't, and you can't do it well, not for yourself or for your children. You're harming yourself and you're harming them. You're harming your relationships. You're harming your ability to create. Because, when I think about birthing, it's not a literal birthing necessarily, right? Like, yeah, maybe you are going through childbirth again. But when I talk about the birthing phase, I'm talking about your businesses. I'm talking about your health, right? Your reclamation of your health potentially. Like birthing is about entering into a new era for you, whatever that means. And you can't do that effectively if you have not first poured into yourself, poured into others, right? And cultivated that and curated that environment, that hive that allows you to even get to the stage where you're, birthing ideas. All right, last question. A woman protects her future health when she
asks for help.
That's the moral of the story. Shit, ask. And also, people who love you will never get tired of you asking. Like, even if you ask me and I can't, I still want you to ask me again later, right? Yeah. Like, and I'll tell you if it's no forever. But if it's just no today, it's just no today. You can ask me again, right? So
I think it's funny that you said, I need to get to that level.
I'll tell you if it's no forever. Like, don't ask me that shit no more. But more than likely, it's just no today.
I love that. I love that. And that goes back to what you always talk about, being kind versus being nice.
100%.
If you're the person, I know we're wrapping up, but if you're the person that's always, if you're the giver, like you have to take a moment, like that, like people that are givers just naturally.
Yes.
I am not. I know that sounds bad. So I am not a giver naturally. And I struggle with asking for help because I think I have to do everything. But I also know people that are very giving and they struggle with asking for help because they're like, well, they're burnt out. You know, they're burnt out and they're like, well, I don't know how to ask for help because people are always asking me, and like I don't have somebody because I am that somebody for my circle. So like that, I feel like hopefully you have a guest for, because like I don't got that. But yeah.
Well, and I'll say one more thing based on what you just said. In your circle, you need to have more than one circle. I'll say that. You need to have concentric circles, right? Like you can have, hell, a Venn diagram even. Like you need to have different circles that connect, overlap, have, you know, some consistency and some similarities, but you should not have one circle.
That's good.
Right? Like you need to have different circles and tribes, and there will be overlap. Yeah. But it shouldn't be like the same two people are your entire lifeline for everything. It's not, in my opinion, it's not sustainable and it's not fair.
That is something I feel like needs to be talked about more, because it's like, oh, my circle. I only, what people be saying, like 2 friends, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
no new friends.
No new friends. Thank you. And it's like, and then you're going to get resentment towards those 2 friends. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love that Venn diagram. Oh,
yeah. That you take care of, not just randomly, but curated and cared for. So yeah. Thank you, Lesline. Are there any parting words you want to leave with the folks who are listening to you right now?
You're doing a good job. You, Nikki, are doing a great job. Thank you again for having me. And you as the listener, like you're listening to this, which is a resource. So that means that you are taking care of yourself. Simply listening to this episode in itself is self-care.
That's right. And share it too.
Yes.
So else can do some self-care too.
Yes.
Thank you, Lesline. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for our sisterhood and our friendship and for your expertise and your time today. You are welcome back anytime. And thank you so much.